Okay, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, my dear students. Welcome to this video. Today we're gonna learn how to solder or weld objects, electronic objects. For that reason, we're gonna need our solder wire, the flux, and also the soldering iron. That is the tool that we're gonna use to do the complete process. Okay. So if it's your first time, it's not necessary that you do this, but you can use this object to clean this stream in your soldering iron. Okay, it's very important that this stream is clean always. Okay, so these are our materials. So first of all, it's important that we can remove the plastic that cover our extremes in the cables. So for that reason, we're gonna remove this plastic using the scissors. And here we're gonna remove this. Maybe it can be complicated if you don't have the complete materials, but with the scissors it's nice. Once that you have the little cut using the scissors, you can remove the plastic without cutting your cables using the nails. Okay, so you have to do in both streams. As you can see, we have to do in the first streams, and in the other streams we have to do it. Okay, this is very important. Okay, so with that we can ensure to do the soldering process, and we have to join the cables to the motor driver. Okay, this is very important. So we're gonna cut this, and once that we have this, we're gonna verify that everything is complete in this case. Okay, once that we have with the cables, so we're gonna take our gear motor and we're gonna take the cables, and we have to put these extremes in the motors, in the motor pins that you have here. Okay, be careful to insert this, and you can do a little bit knob to ensure that the cable won't won't join to the motor. So for that reason, we have to do a little knob here in this extreme, and in the other extreme is the same process. So you have to keep in mind that this knob is strong, and with that we can ensure that when we're going to start to solder, the cables will stay in their place. Okay, very important, verify this part. You have to do the same process in all the motors before to start to soldering. Okay, now once that we have this, it's time to solder our cables to the motor. First of all, we have to connect our soldering iron to the electricity. We have to wait until the soldering iron is warming, and there you will use the flux to verify this. Okay, so when you have the soldering iron enough with the correct temperature, you can test with the flux, and you can take this flux to clean the stream to start to solder. Okay, so once that we have these, guys, we're gonna take the soldering wire, and we're gonna verify if we can melt this this wire. Okay, if we have this result, maybe it's time to start to solder the cables. Okay, so once that we have this, we're gonna take the motors here, and it's time to do the soldering process. Okay, so for that reason, we have to be careful maybe when you manipulate these elements, because maybe you can burn it, and the idea is that you can do in a simple step. Okay, once that you have this, okay, you will put the wires, the soldering wire with the soldering iron, and the idea is that we can put this little soldering point that is enough to do the soldering process. Okay, so as you can see here, we're gonna put the wire with the iron, and we can join these parts and do a simple point. Look at, we're gonna touch the wire with the iron in a simple and a little point. Okay, that's the idea. Okay, so as you can see here, we have a little point that can join the wires with the motor pin, and we have to do the same process in all the cases. Okay, with both motors. Okay, you have to do the same process, right? So that's the idea. Okay, verify that the soldering is nice. It's that you did the process properly, and I have to say that you have to be careful in this process, because the idea is that you don't burn. Okay. So once that we have this, we're gonna test our motors and that our soldering is correct, but we're gonna do it in the next step. Okay. Okay, once that we have our complete motor soldered, it's time to test. Okay, first of all, we're gonna take our Arduino Uno. In my case, this is my Arduino Uno. It's a little bit small, but it's enough to do the test. Okay, so first of all, we have to use the proto board to connect the positive and the negative of our Arduino to the proto board bus. Okay, once that we have this, it's very important that we check the voltage that we are getting there. Okay, that's the idea. So for that reason, we're gonna use these jumpers to connect the positive to the positive and negative bus in the proto board, and we're gonna measure that we can have the enough voltage to feed our device. Okay, so for that reason, I'm gonna connect here, and once that we have this, we're gonna take it only if you have it. Okay, only if you have it. It's not necessary that you do this step, but if you already have, you can do it. Okay, so if you have the multimeter, you can move in volts, and maybe you have to take these pins to the multimeter, and you have to measure between 3.8 to 5 volts. It depends of your device. Okay, in my case, it's measuring 3.8 volts. For that reason, I consider that the power supply is nice. So this step is very important if you don't want issues connecting the motors. Okay, so once that we have this step, that is optional, no, it's optional, I have to say, it's time to connect the motors. Okay, what are we gonna do? We're gonna connect the motors to the positive and negative bus in our proto board. So look at here carefully. I am taking the cables. I am using this process to try that the cables fit in the holes. Okay, so that is the idea. So you have maybe can be a little bit of time. The idea is that you can do as fast as possible, but you have to be patient in that case, and it's normal, you know. Okay, so you have to connect both motors. Okay, negative to negative, positive to positive, and once that you have this, You have to verify carefully here both motors. Maybe it can take a little bit of time. Uh, so you have to connect the Arduino finally to the computer, and let's verify if the motors are moving. So that means that the result is correct and our process is nice. Okay, so it's time to test it. Look at, we're gonna test, and as you can see, when I connect to the Arduino, you can see that both motors are moving. Okay, this is the way that you can use to test.